Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Vanda Sagovac. I come from Croatia, capital city Zagreb. My profession is tourist manager and also the first deaf person who is a deaf guide for deaf population in Croatia. And I'm also the president of the Croatian Association for Culture of Deaf and Hard of Hearing People. While I was in college, I had one problem. I had everyone thought that I was a tourist guide, but I tried to explain then that I'm only the tourist manager. What happened, there was a group of French tourists who came to Croatia, but they were, one agency sold them, they advertised falsely and sold them a package that wasn't suitable for them. So they asked me to come to Dubrovnik to, save this situation. That kind of woke up the idea inside of me to become a tourist guide for deaf population, and Zagreb Tourist Board recognized this my effort, and any deaf tourists who come to Zagreb, they have services, guidance, sightseeing for free. It's a great opportunity for deaf tourists when they come to Croatia, but only in Zagreb. In Croatia, social tourism it's still at its infancy. Now we have recognized it all in Croatian tourism development strategy until 2020, and there's still a lot of work to be done, but deaf people are still not, and their needs are still not recognized, because our greatest problem is social communication. You see that I have to always be accompanied with my interpreter at various meetings, and private sector does not recognize the needs for deaf people. But everyone is, all people recognize the visible disability, and hotels are accessible to them. They have bigger rooms, bathrooms, but they don't recognize the needs for deaf people. We are mobile, we can walk, but we don't get every information that we need. There is a lack of information, and we don't have a good website where we can find all the information, and we always have, for deaf people, we always chat on with Skype or video conference to find out, and we need more networking. Although thanks to new technologies such as Facebook, Viber, Skype, we are more connected now than before. Last year, I was in European Union of Deaf, and I asked them, what are your plans in social tourism? And they said, no, it's not our problem. We only take care of recognition of sign language, and that's their program in what they do. That means that economy, social tourism has to take care of itself. When we speak about people with disabilities, in this case for deaf people, and that's why I took effort, to go to our ministry in Croatia to fight for deaf people in Croatia. And I thought, why, when deaf people come in Croatia, half of them know about me, and half of them do not know that they have this kind of service. We don't have one good platform. I know that there are 11 agencies owned by deaf people, travel agencies in the world, but everyone works for themselves. We don't have a conference. We should organize something like this to see that in the future we work together, to make a chain of social services for deaf people with restaurants, hotels, and such. For example, deaf people they have big houses at our coast, but they don't know to use this and to rent their facilities. They don't know to use their potential to, make a profit. But that means that what steps do we need to undertake? But in Croatia, tourist agencies are for deaf is unachieved dream, because we have to have our office by the laws of Croatia. Although we have succeeded to fight for be able to have online travel agencies. So that means we can only have one employee inside of my house, and but deaf people need interpreter and employee. But okay, they said, okay, you can have an interpreter, but you can employ one deaf person. That's something, good for us, but it needs still a lot of work, because we do not have money. We need to connect each other and, networking in Europe in order to start online travel agency. But what I have noticed, for example, a lot of associations, I don't know, why don't we use organized trips, conferences, when there is a manifestation in other country? Why don't other travel agencies recognize the potential to organize trips for deaf people to come to this event? It looks like I don't have much time, so I have to... Sorry, I got confused a little bit. Thanks to video conferences, you know that it has facilitated our, it has enabled us deaf to communicate with each other, and but I would like for every deaf people in the world. I asked Daniel now and all who are here presented to work together, to make a project together. To, for example, like next year in Dubrovnik in summer, we organize the 4th International Exhibition of Deaf Artists. Why wouldn't you organize groups of people to come to Dubrovnik to network culture and tourism together? Not just Dubrovnik, but the other cities in Zagreb. Why not? Everyone has forgotten that on the websites of World Federation of the Deaf, there are calendars. A lot of them maybe don't follow that, but always they publish the events that are happening in various cities or countries of the world. For example, in Berlin there was a deaf tattoo party. A lot of people didn't know about it, and we should have organized it for people from Croatia to go over there, and maybe in other countries. We deaf people should gather around together. For example, when there is 500, 600 deaf people that come together to one party, that's a great thing. They are very social, and they like to travel, and they like to party with each other. When you have a concert, I don't know, when Beyonce sings, there's buses coming from other countries to our city, but when there's an event for the deaf, they don't come together. We need to start working. That's a problem in communication between ourselves and with the world. I don't know why, but it's a fact. A lot of people ask me, how do I come to Zagreb? How do I travel? And I said, I don't know what to tell you. And traveling is not so hard, There's, you need to engage yourself, and I'm not a travel agency. I cannot help you at this moment. What I can offer you is my services as tourist guide. I know there's a tourist agency of deaf in Germany, but for example, when I was in USA, I asked someone for one information. They said, "You find it yourself. You find it. You have everything on the website." And the problem is, I don't know English. But maybe the problem is that this website I cannot find some event because it's not, in right order. Deaf people don't know how to make content, make it easy for the other deaf people to find the information. Yeah. For example, if you Google deaf travel agencies, you cannot find it sometimes. But if you Google actors, you will find it. So that's a problem. There's a lot of things about which deaf people are not educated enough. They should go on various educations. I would like also for hearing people to know at least the basics of the sign language in order to be able to provide services, for example, in restaurants or something like that when a deaf tourist comes. We exceeded our time, so thank you very much for your attention.